Πάμε.
Είμαστε εδώ στο χώρο του Shockwave Festival και μαζί μας έχουμε φυσικά τον Robert Smith, τον Cure, μια πολύ εύκολα αναγνώρισιμη φιγούρα για τους fans του rock. Robert, I'd like to welcome you once more here in Athens, Greece.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be back.
It's the fourth time you've been here for playing. You just told me that you've been for vacation as well. Are you thrilled to be here in Athens?
Yeah, it's one of the places that it's very different to where I live, and it's always much it's a more enjoyable experience visiting places where the weather's different, the culture's different. It's really nice. Whenever I'm here, I love Greek food as well and Greek drink. It's one of my favourite places in the world. If it just wasn't so hot, I've tried it at most different times of the year, but it's always hot. So it's.
Yes, that's not unfortunate, I think, because it makes a nice change from the British weather.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so it's almost 25 years now that you've been playing music with your band, The Cure. I was wondering whether you find it still thrilling to be in this band and having to play live gigs and so on.
I honestly feel exactly the same now as when I started. I think there's something wrong with me, perhaps. I went through a period about 5 or 6 years ago when I became very disillusioned with The Cure, and I wasn't really enjoying it. But since the Blood Flowers album that we did, and that tour in particular, I've really rediscovered my enthusiasm for playing, particularly for playing live with the band. The tour that we did I think was the best tour that we'd ever done, which is really nice after sort of more than 20 years to suddenly rediscover like the fact that I thought we could be good again. So these few festivals we're playing, this is the first one. This is the first one this year, this concert. So there's a very keen sense of anticipation. It's actually also quite nervous, that like the mood in the camp, with it being the very first one. We're never really sure with the first one how it's going to go. So I'm hoping it'll be good.
Your previous album, as you mentioned, Blood Flowers, was one of the best you have yet recorded. So what do you think your fans should expect from you in the future?
Well, in the immediate future, like tonight, because we didn't come here on the Blood Flowers tour, we're playing some Blood Flowers songs tonight, but we're also playing some really weird old songs tonight that we don't normally play, so we're hoping that it's a Cure audience. It's all a bit strange because of the 3-day festival turning into 1 day, we were always intending to play a more kind of a darker set, and yesterday we were thinking maybe we should change it, make it more accessible, but we thought no, we'll keep it kind of quite dark. I think a bit further in the future, we've done demos for a new album, which is it kind of follows on from Blood Flowers, but it doesn't. It's harder than Blood Flowers.
Harder meaning darker, maybe?
It is a lot darker. Yeah, it's kind of heavier and sort of it's more distorted and there's more
full-on pornography, maybe.
It is difficult to describe because it's a kind of I'm hoping it's going to turn out to be very atmospheric in the way. What I really loved about Blood Flowers was its atmosphere. I thought it was really good, and that was because of the way we recorded it. So I'm trying to get that kind of atmosphere to follow on from Blood Flowers, but have something that's probably got the aggression of pornography, something that's a lot more kind of violent sounding. And the subject matter is determining that because I'm writing about things that upset me in the world, so it's slightly different. Blood Flowers is very introspective, and the next record is very sort of is me looking out more.
You had many, let's say, pop hit singles in the past. Should I assume that you are leaving this kind of music behind for the time being?
Yeah, we haven't really done a single since Wrong Number in 1997. It was the last time we really did a single. I think tonight, are we doing any singles? I don't think there's any singles in the set, but if I've had enough beer and the crowd seem right, we'll probably do a couple of singles if we do an encore tonight, because it'll be a relief, But generally speaking, I think that the whole mood, why I was losing faith with the group was because I felt we'd lost what essentially made us really good, and that was always been the big albums. That's the part of The Cure that I really love. It's the reason why I still want to be in the group. So singles, we're too old to do singles anyway. It's like, we never get played on the radio, so there's no point. But it's actually more because I would feel uncomfortable doing pop music, I think, upbeat pop music. It's just not me really at the moment.
Maybe you're fed up with doing promo videos as well, is something that you dislike maybe.
Yeah, I think we've probably made enough promo videos. Yeah.
Right. Since I have seen the people that have gathered to see you play live, I can assure you that it's totally safe to play a darker set, because it's, many hardcore fans of the band which expect to see this side of the group, maybe more than the poppier side.
Yeah, it was when we did the Bloodflowers tour in 2000. We really didn't. We didn't play everywhere. We didn't come to Greece, obviously. We didn't play in the Far East. We didn't go to South America. The reason was that even whilst we were arranging the tour, I was very reluctant to embark on something that was a really extensive tour. And the reason why I thought it was so good is because we played just a few shows at a time, and then we had time to kind of, recover and want to play. And I think that's the secret. That's the reason why we're doing these festivals. We're doing 13 festivals in 5 weeks. So each one is a really kind of special event. And to make it more special, I think it's better if we do play songs that people haven't seen before. We'll be playing probably 10 songs tonight that we've never played in Greece before. So it's, we do think about who we're playing to. And it'll be a different set wherever we go this summer. We'll play different songs. So we rehearsed about 50 songs. So we've got a lot to choose from.
We shouldn't forget that you're coming after a greatest hits album, and perhaps there'll be people thinking that you're touring this CD.
They're going to get shocked.
Pleasantly shocked, maybe.
Yeah, no, the greatest hits really wasn't our idea. I think it's good. I think that, it's a part of our history that it makes up part of what's The Cure. But for me, it's not really the essential part of The Cure, the greatest hits. And we didn't really do we did one show for the greatest hits album, that was it, that was enough. We did one really good acoustic show in Paris, where we played all the hits acoustic, and that was really good fun. But we decided before we even agreed to the greatest hits, we would not do any promotion. Certainly wouldn't do any live shows. It's just not right, We in the festivals in '97 and some in '98, we did do a lot of pop stuff, and I just thought it was rubbish. Actually, I thought they were the worst concerts we've ever done. So I think that this group, this lineup, is really good playing big songs. I think that's where we sound the best. We're just not a very good pop group with this lineup.
No, I think you were when you were very good.
But it's also it was a long time ago, and I think it's it's a mental state pop. And I think to pretend that you're still young, to want to do pop music, I think there's something wrong with you if you do that. I enjoy being in The Cure, I enjoy the band, but I enjoy a side of the music which I think is kind of appeals to me at the age I am. It's not really, it's not music to jump around to and kind of, there's something else going on, and it always has to appeal to me primarily, because otherwise I won't do it. So I actually, like with your first question, I want to stay feeling the same about The Cure as I did when I started, and the only way for me to do that is to do what I want to do. So sometimes it's probably not commercially the best, certainly from the people from the record company that we've just left were always saying to me, you're making the wrong choices, but I can't really make the wrong choices if I'm only concerned about my own satisfaction, really, my own enthusiasm. So I'm very happy that there's so many other people in the world who seem to agree, really.
Maybe the people that agree with your new direction, let's say it's not a new direction, but it's the old direction, yes, the new old direction, is people who used to listen to the band when you started. They were teenagers then, and they are in their 30s or mid-30s now. They have grown up with the band, along with the band.
Yeah, it's also very true of us that the audience... we've got older, the audience hasn't got younger, but we've retained a certain amount of our fans, and we've certainly got a lot more back since Bloodflowers, we noticed on the tour. But it is quite a young audience, really, for a band that's been going as long as us. I think that's more to do with like the way that people empathise with what we do. It's a certain type of person likes The Cure, I think, when we do this kind of music. It doesn't really matter how old they are. So, because I meet and talk to people who are now who are half my age, you know, but I don't feel twice as old as them, and they don't feel half as young as me. It's like because if you're essentially feeling the same things, you know, I mean, it's I don't feel grown up at all. I mean, I've experienced a huge amount, but I really don't know any more than I did when I was a teenager. Essentially, you never do. It's just most people give up looking, and that's the difference, I think.
Do you write and record songs for The Cure all the time? I mean, when you get lost sometimes, I mean, you do the promotion for a record and then we don't hear from you for a year maybe. Do you still write songs, and do you still, or do you leave all that behind and get on with some normal life?
I do live more what could be called a normal. It's not really normal, but it's not as abnormal as being in a band. I mean, my life isn't really normal because I don't work, and yet I don't have to work. You know, I can really do what I want. So in that sense, I'm very lucky. It's not really I wouldn't say it's normal because most people have to work in some way. But the weird thing is I do write all the time, but I write for different reasons. It's difficult. I really enjoy like playing an instrument. Like when I'm at home, I've got, you know, guitars and pianos and stuff at home, or a piano and pianos, and I will sit down and just play something, and then I think I've written something, so I record it. But that's it. It's only when I sometimes almost always I'll write one particular piece of music or a song or a set of words, and I think it's time to do an album. And I never know when that's going to happen. Sometimes it will be a year or 18 months until I know that that's the catalyst for me. And then I listen back to things that I've done and see if there's enough stuff there. So it's I don't kind of go home and think, right, what's next? What's the next project? I never worried about whether I'm going to make another album. I don't see it as a career. I never have done. So I have to feel in something that something triggers it, and then I want the group to kind of do something more. But I've spent the last year making my own record. So I've finished like a record that I've just done on my own.
A Robert Smith record coming under your own name.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if it will be released before the next Cure album or after. I haven't decided yet. But that's it's only, I mean, it's the first time I've done it, just something. So I have actually been writing at home for a purpose.
Is it in the vein of the Cure sound or something different?
It's very, very different.
Electronic, maybe?
It's how do I describe it? It's kind of it's sort of more electronic than the Cure stuff, but not electronic like pop electronic. It's more I don't know what the reference points are really. I suppose 9 Inch Nails-ish sort of.
Song-based, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's very melodic. That's the difference. Most people say electronica and it's kind of beat driven, but what I've done is actually it's melody driven, so it's a weird hybrid of sort of traditional songwriting like the Cure mixed in with very odd sounds. There are some people who I could say sound slightly like it, but I won't, because otherwise people will expect something.
And the journalist will grab the names to compare it to.
Yeah, exactly. They'll have to figure it out for themselves. There's some I've actually taken some reference points from some very old people like Can and Captain Beefheart, rather than a new generation of electronica. It's more the old original stuff, and then I've tried to bring it up to date as if nothing had happened in between. So I mean it's different to the Cure stuff. Some of it's pretty weird, but it's
So it's 1977 in your heart, eh?
yeah. No, I think the strangest thing about it actually is that one version's got singing on it and one hasn't. One's an instrumental version, and I actually prefer the instrumental version, but anyone that I've played it to prefers the vocal version, so I don't know.
So you're not sure which one is going to be released?
Well, I suspect that they'll both be released, and one will be a limited edition and the other one won't.
That's fantastic news. So Robert, it was a great pleasure for me to speak to you. We're going to see you soon, play for us, and we hope to see you again in Athens.
If it goes well tonight, then we'll definitely be coming back to Athens.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks.